Hey everyone, welcome back to our beginner fly tying series. I'm Tony and this is Terrible Ties with Tony. I'm super glad to have you back with us to learn another pattern. We really appreciate your support, and all it takes to help me keep this going is a like and a subscribe on this video. The best part is that doesn't cost you anything. So let's jump right into today's pattern, the hare's ear. Pretty easy to tie and doesn't take many materials. Make a bunch of these buggy little guys in different sizes to keep in your box. All we need for this pattern is a bead, a hook, some gold wire, some pheasant tail, some tan or light brown thread. I'm using 72 denier unithread in Camel, and some natural rabbit dubbing. The natural hairs and rabbit dubbing make this fly stand out, but feel free to use whatever light tan or gray dubbing you have on hand. Today, I'm using a size 14 standard dry fly hook and a matching bead. In this case, that's a 1/8 inch. Let's go. All right, let's get started. Start getting our thread base down with a jam knot here. So that's locked in. We can cut our tag end off. And then we're going to wrap back to the bend of the hook. And wrap back forward to our bead. And then back to about the point of the hook. And we're going to grab our pheasant tail feather here. Snip off the ends. The thinner end is going to be our tail. And I like to try to do what I can to get these all even before I tie this in. Once you're happy with that, and they're all fairly even, we can get this tied in. Usually like for mine to be about a hook shank length, a little bit less. Do a couple loose wraps there and start snugging it down, trying to make sure you keep that right on top of the hook. A few wraps backwards, stop to make sure it's staying there. Start snugging that down, a few more wraps towards the back. Now I'm going to wrap forward, continue doing the same, keeping it right on top of the hook. I'll wrap that all the way up to the bead. Keep checking on that to make sure it stays right on top. A few tight wraps in there to keep it snug. That's looking pretty good. We're going to take a little bit of our gold wire, probably about 1.5 inches. Snip a piece off with your knot tying scissors. The way I like to attach this is just put it right up into the back of the bead. A couple wraps to get it secured. And then we're going to wrap that and we're going to wrap that all the way back to where we stopped for our tail. Now that's nice and secure. Let's put together a 2 to 3 inch dubbing needle. While I get that going, if you're using a thread that you're having a hard time getting the dubbing to stick to, they make some dubbing wax and other products for this. I just like to use a little bit of beeswax. Now making sure that we only twist one way with our dubbing, start getting it attached to our thread. I like it to be pretty tight, pretty thin for this rear section. Try to keep it as even as you can on your thread. Now starting at the back, we're going to start wrapping that forward. You want to stop with a little bit of room behind your bead. Ended up with a little too much on there, so you can just peel that off. Now with that in place, we're going to take our wire, start spiraling that forward right on top of that body. I like to stop right in that little gap we made. Make a few tight wraps on both sides of your wire. And we can wiggle that free. Now right back up to behind your bead. Grab what's left of your pheasant tail here. Wrap that back nice and tight to right where we stopped our body. Now we're going to want to add another dubbing noodle onto our thread here. Same thing, try to keep it nice and even, while only spinning it onto your thread one way. So now we're going to use that to fill that little bit of a gap we left behind the bead. You're going to want to wrap that to be a little bit bigger than your body section was. Now we're going to pull that rest of those feathers forward. Get one wrap over that right behind the bead. Make sure it's centered. Get a couple tight wraps in there to lock that down. Snip off what's left with your tying scissors. And a wrap or two more. We're going to grab our whip finisher. 3 to 5 turn whip finish on this. I like to make sure mine are nice and tight in there. And get ready your tying thread. And those pheasant tail fibers can be pretty fragile, so I do like to go in with a tiny bit of head cement too, just to protect those. In this case, I'm using a UV resin and not a head cement, so we'll use our UV light to cure that up. Ten or 15 seconds will do it. This is a fun one. So you can leave it just how it is, with a few little pieces of that dubbing poking out. If you really want to make it extra buggy, you can go in with a dubbing brush or toothbrush or a bit of Velcro and kind of tease out some more of that as well. I like to tease out a little bit more on the bottom and then come in and trim the top back to kind of tight. There you have it, the hare's ear. Now that you've tied your first hare's ear, keep after it and tie a bunch more before you clean up your bench. Thanks again for being here with me, and make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons so you don't miss our upcoming pattern tutorials. Tight lines until next time. Now get out there and catch some fish and let us know what you got.